Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Theory Thursday. Most weeks we are now going to spend some time on a Thursday looking at a theory element of Blood Bowl. It could be stats, it could be strats. Haven't quite decided. Was going to be doing and having a look at passing this week, but last night in my fumble game there came a moment where I was like, is it worth fouling this guy to get him off the pitch? And then I thought, I don't know. So what I've done is I've gone for a deep dive into the numbers of fouling. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at when to foul, why to foul, how to foul, and what skills are going to make it beneficial. And the main goal of this is to look at the EV, so the equal value. When is it best to foul and what is the risk? So let's have a look at fouling. So there's a couple of key changes when it comes to fouling from Blood Bowl 2016 to Blood Bowl 2020. I guess the biggest one of these is the fact that guard now gives you assists for fouling. So if you have a team with a bunch of guard, that cheeky little foul maneuver is going to be brilliant. So that's going to benefit some teams. So Chaos Dwarves tend to get quite a bit of guard on their front line. That means with the cheap Hobgoblin at 40k, those fouls are going to be +2, +3, where they may not have been before. That's going to help you with that cheeky foul option. Black Orc teams, we're looking at you guys. So 6 Black Orcs, all of them are realistically headed towards guard one way or another, and you've got cheap Goblins that can get sneaky git. So it kind of builds up a really good combo there. So you're looking for guard. Guard now helps you on offense and on defense and on fouling. So guard got better. Brilliant. The other probably biggest thing is that pile driver is now a skill. So I guess that, yeah, piling on is the old skill. Pile driver is the new one. Now what pile driver allows you to do is you make a block, you make a blitz, whatever, you knock a dude down, you roll for armor, use mighty blow, use claw, whatever. After that, you can place your player prone and foul them. Now it doesn't take your foul action for the turn, but all the foul rules apply. So you can get sent off, but it also means that if you are making a good block because you've got a bunch of guard around you, that guard is going to carry on and apply to the foul as well. So there's a bit of stacking there. Death Rollers. Death Rollers come with Dirty Player +2. They have strength access. And they're secret weapons already. So what you can do is Mighty Blow, smack a guy down, Pile Driver, although placing your Death Roller may seem, prone may seem counterintuitive for a movement 4 piece, but quite frankly, Mighty Blow +1 followed by Dirty Player +2, you are getting that guy gone, and that is pretty sweet. Alright, so let's think about when and why you might want to foul. I guess let's talk about the interpersonal aspect first. If you're playing online, this one doesn't feel quite so bad. But when you're playing in a league, well, whether you're playing in a league online or playing in a league in person, taking a foul at the end of a game is always going to raise some eyebrows. When we have tournaments, we always allow foul casualties to count towards your tournament points. So if someone casualties somebody by surfing them, by powering them down, by throwing a teammate at them and killing them, or by fouling them off the pitch, we give them a point for casualty. What that does is it kind of enables fouling and kind of it takes the edge off from a point. Now fouling is a huge part of the game, and if there is a key piece on the board, fouling it off is going to massively help your TVOP. It's going to help maintain your dominance. You're going to have more team value on the pitch. So fouling is generally speaking always to be considered when there is an opportunity to take out a player that is better than yours. However, if you're playing a league or resurrection, if you're not playing resurrection, if you're playing in a league, there is a chance that that is going to permanently injure that player. So in a tournament or a resurrection format, doesn't matter at all, go foul and go crazy. In a league, it can always feel bad, and there's always that turn 16 foul. My recommendation is just to start the match and go, look, I'm going to foul every turn because that's what I'm doing. And there will be some times where actually there's no point to take a turn 16 foul. Sometimes it's going to happen. Now, the whole point of a foul is you make a risk. You risk your guy being sent off with the chance to just make a straight armor roll against them and then an injury roll if you break it. So you can risk a lineman, risk a chaff player to just take an armor roll against one of their best players. And now you should be thinking about value. So often it's not worth fouling an orc off the pitch with a dark elf, because the dark elf is worth more team value. But it is worth fouling an orc lineman off the pitch with a snotling, for example. It is always worth fouling a war dancer, and unless your player is better than them, sort of team value wise, probably consider it. Gutter runners, war dancers, throwers, catchers, key pieces, definitely worth a foul. Try not to foul with your big guy wherever possible, because they tend to be more team value, and your key pieces, so human throwers or blitzers or something, the guys you don't want to risk, don't foul. Linemen, whatever, just go nuts most of the time. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the stats, we're going to look at how often it succeeds, and then finally, and the most importantly, we're going to look at EV. We're going to look at what is the percentage of your guy being sent off versus the percentage of them getting off as well. So whether that's a knockout or a badly hurt. Basically, you are playing the removal roulette. Am I going to get sent off versus are they going to be removed from the pitch? Let's have a look. So first things first, the armor break. What are the chances of actually breaking armor? Now what we've got up here is we've got people's players' armor value and the percentage you are likely to break that on a 2d6. There are a ton of things that factor into this. Now we spoke about guard, but just assists in any way. So whether you've got assists from guard, assists from just people standing around and having numeric advantage, that adds to the AV. So I've highlighted AV 9+ in 9 because the old armor 8 and therefore now the old armor 9+ is probably the most frequent armor. So that's the one we kind of want to look at. That's what most decent players that you want to remove are. Human blitzers, dark elves, stuff like that. And look at this chart, and then if you've got 1 assist, move it up 1. If you've got 2 assists, move it up 2. And we can look at which percentage you are going to start enjoying removing players. When it comes to Dirty Player, now Dirty Player is a skill that normally is DP +1, so you just get to add 1 in the same way you would with Mighty Blow. So at the moment we are going to treat it as if you're Dirty Player, you are happy to use it for the armor break. A little bit later on we're going to have a look and see whether what the stats look like if you are going to withhold your Dirty Player, so to kind of increase the chance of them being removed. But here, for example, you've got 1 assist, you've got Dirty Player, and you're fouling an armor 9 player. That goes up from 27% to a 58% chance of an armor break. So this percentage here will give you at least a stun. We'll look in a minute at proper removal, so knockout and onwards. So if you are fouling a human lineman or a human blitzer or a dark elf blitzer or a skaven blitzer or anything with armor 9+ with no assists at all, it's a 27.8% chance. Chuck 1 assist in there and it's a 41.7% chance. So if you are going to be fouling somebody with armor 9+, get 1 assist. It's just gonna make a massive bit of difference. Realistically though, you want to aim for the roll being 7 or lower for you to succeed. So if you are fouling an armor 8+ piece, 1 assist is going to do it. If you're fouling an armor 9+ piece, you want 2 assists. Because when you start getting to the point where you are more likely than not to break their armor, it starts being more worth the risk. We will literally look at the risks and whether it's worth it in a moment, but just to feel good. Now, the benefit here is you're looking at these stats. This will take that player out for 1 turn at least. So if it's turn 7, if you need them down, or if you just want to buy yourself time, it will take them down for 1 turn at least. So armor 11+, if you're going to try and foul a treeman, 8.3% chance. Armor 10+, so that's your dwarves, your chaos dwarves, your ogres, things like that, 16.7, so a 1 in 6 chance of you being able to break that armor. Armor 9+, like we said before, 27.8, so a little less than a third of the time that's going to work. Armor 8+, so your Skaven players, most of these Skaven Wood Elves, War Dancers, if you're going to foul a War Dancer without any assists, 41.7% of the time you were going to stun them. On the way to half. With 1 assist, or if you are fouling an Armor 7+ player, Halflings, 58.3%. Realistically, that's going to be 1 guard, and you put in the boot into the War Dancer, 58% chance that guy is stunned for the next turn. That is the point at which you are like, yes, this is worth it for me. There's better than a half-point chance that he's going to be stunned at least, and anything over that is just kind of extra bonus. Armor 6 plus, so Snotling territory 72% of the time. Now the thing is with Armor 6 plus players, you're not going to have a lot of them, but that is there because you're going to be adding. So if you've got an Armor 8 plus player and you've got 2 assists, 72%, almost 3/4 of the time you're going to break their armor and bust them open. Armor 5 plus, so if you get a ton of assists here, so Armor 9 plus with 4 assists, 83%, so 5/6 of a chance you are going to pop their armor open and get a free roll on the injury table. But let's say that a stun is not enough. You need to get them off the pitch for the rest of this drive. Maybe it's the second half and you just want them gone for the rest of the game. We've got knockout stats here and we've got badly hurt. The badly hurt factor is included in the knockout because it is knockout or better, so getting them gone for the rest of this drive. It starts, let's have a look at Armor 9 plus because that's kind of like our midpoint, 11.6% chance of getting them off the pitch. So that is breaking the armor and then rolling at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plus. So just a little bit over 1 in 10, 1 in 9 chance basically of knocking them out if you go for a foul. So if you foul every turn for a half, you may knock one out. But the stats get better as you go up and you add assists. So let's go down a bit. Armor 10 plus 6.9% chance and Armor 11 3.5% chance. So way lower there. And you've got to watch because these Armor 10 and Armor 11 players, generally speaking, are going to have something like Thick Skull or Regen as well for you to consider. Not going to run the numbers on that because this is just a guideline. But remember, if they've got assists, it's going to affect your foul as well. So you could be turning these Armor 9 plus pieces into Armor 10 plus pieces if they've got guard and you don't. However, let's go up the scale. Armor 8 plus is 17.4% chance. So if you're going to do a cheeky foul on the War Dancer, 1 in 6 times, that guy is knocked out. And then 7% of the time, basically 6.9% of the time, they're going to be badly hurt or better. That's kind of where you want to be going, really, isn't it? Armor 7 plus 24.3% of the time, so almost a quarter of the time you're going to be knocking out an Armor 7 plus piece. So that's a 9 plus player with 2 assists. A quarter of the time they're going to be knocked out or worse. That's where it starts getting to the point of actually those odds are worth me taking here. That human blitzer with Mighty Blow Guard, he's on the ground. Let's get a couple of assists on him and put the boot in. 1 in 4 chance he's gone for the rest of the drive or maybe even the game. And that's where it kind of starts to get juicy. Thank you. If you can get to Armor 6 plus, basically if you need to roll a 6 or more, 30% chance, and Armor 5 plus 34.7% chance, so a third of the time or more. So badly hurt is just worse. There is not a lot of chance of you getting badly hurt, but you are rolling it and you're rolling it free. Stun is going to be beneficial. KO is removal. So KO is the key, and getting them down to that 7 plus is really the sweet spot for when you start to feel good about this roll. 1 in 4 chances of getting that player gone. And talking of getting players gone, the downside of fouling, and I think it's important that it exists, is that the referee may just see you and will potentially send you off. So when you roll on the armor, if you roll a double, you are sent off. If you break the armor, you get to roll on the injury table. If you roll a double there, you get sent off. So we're going to have a look at some statistics, some chances for you to get sent off. Now the way I've put these numbers together is we've looked at the first roll, which is the armor roll. Doesn't matter if you break it or not, there's a 1 in 6 chance of you being sent off for a double. If you are successful, you will roll those dice again and try and destroy them. There's another 1 in 6% chance of doing that. And the way I've put the figures together basically is you've got that original 1.6, and then based on the armor roll, you've got another 1.6 percentage. So say there was a 50% chance of breaking the armor, then you'd have 8.3% chance of rolling doubles on that second roll, because there's a 1 in 6 chance of rolling doubles, but you're only going to be rolling it half the time. So that's how I put these stats together. Obviously, if you don't break the armor, you don't get to roll again. And this is really what you guys want to be seeing. So being sent off. So taking into consideration the fact that if you break armor, you get to roll again. The lower the armor, the more chance you're rolling 2 lots of 2 dice, the more chance you've got of rolling a double. So let's start at the sweet spot again. If you are trying to break somebody's armor who is armor 9 plus, you've got a 21.3% chance of being sent off. So you've got a 1 in 5 chance of being sent off, basically. Armor 8 plus, 23% chance. Armor 7 plus, 26% chance. Armor 6 plus, 28% chance. And Armor 5 plus, 30% chance. Obviously, the higher the armor, the lower the chance of rolling that injury roll, the less chance of rolling a double on the injury roll that way. So armor 10 plus is less than 20% at 19%, and armor 11 plus, if you're going to go for that cheeky tree man foul, 18% chance of you being sent off. When you consider 16% is a flat rate for the first one, you're not breaking that armor very often, so you're not going to be taking that second roll. So you've got your odds of breaking the armor. You kind of thought to yourself, actually, there's a X% chance of me taking this guy out for the rest of the game. These are the percentages of my guy going out. Okay, fine. So there is somewhere between a 20 to 30% chance of my guy being sent out. When is it worthwhile? So we come to the EV of fouling. So what we've got here is we've got a cheeky little chart. It rates the roll required to break the armor, as in armor value. We've got the percentage chance of them being knocked out or better, and we've got the percentage chance of you being sent off as a result of it. So let's start right here at the top. Armor 5 plus. If you're going to foul somebody and you need a 5 plus to roll it, so if you're fouling a human lineman but you've got 4 assists, for example, there is a 34% chance of them being gone. There's a 30% chance of you being gone. Armor 6 plus, 30% chance of them being taken out, and a 28% chance of you being sent off. Now, those are obviously mutually exclusive. Regardless of whether you get sent off or not, you're going to cause an armor roll and you're going to cause potentially the injury roll. Anything beyond that, and it is actually, you've got a greater chance of being sent off than you do of removing them. Now, we're not including stun in here because that is just straight armor break. That's really easy to calculate. This is, okay, I'm going to take a foul. I am willing to risk my guy being sent off to remove them, whether it's a KO or a casualty. Armor 11, 3.5% chance of knocking them out plus, 18% chance of you being sent off. Armor 10, 7% chance of they being removed, and you 19% chance of being removed. Armor 9 plus, now that's kind of, like I said, our middle ground. There is an 11.6% chance of removing an armor 9 plus player without any skills. Okay, there's a 21% chance of you being sent off. So if you are going to go and wander and have a crack at knocking somebody on the ground with armor 9 plus, you are twice as likely to be sent off as it is to work. That's with no assists. So if you are thinking, right, I'm going to take a punt and take a foul on the armor 9 plus guy, you are twice as likely to be sent off as you are to remove them. Now, like I said, it's slightly easier to stun, but the odds are still... This is really the gamble, isn't it? You want to be removing the player. Stunning them is going to help you sometimes, and then just flick back a couple of screens and you can see it's just straight armor break. Armor 8 plus 7, it starts getting closer here. Armor 8 plus 17% against 23%. So a little bit more likely for you to get sent off. Armor 7 plus. Now, we said this was kind of the sweet spot because it's a 24% chance of removing them. It's a 26% chance of you being removed as well. So if you're a big fan of mutual destruction, you want to get that foul roll to at least a 7 plus. Okay, you want to have at least 2 assists if you're taking out an armor 9 player. You want 1 assist if you are kicking a wall dancer in the head. Okay, that gives you kind of your break even point. You want to be rolling a 7 to break armor. If you can roll a 7 to break armor, then you are basically evens to lose your guy and to lose their guy. But better than that, and it gets better. Not by a lot, but it does get better. If you get down to needing a 6 plus, you got a 30% chance of knocking them out or worse, and a 28% chance of you being sent off. And when it comes to armor 5, if you can get all the way down there, 35% basically chance of taking them out, and a 30% chance of you being sent off as well. That 7 plus is probably the sweet point. Anything better than that, you're just having a great time. But anything worse than that, and you are very much in the worse side of the odds. And that is the main lesson of this entire video. It's your gamble to take. Do the stuff you got to do on the pitch. Make a play on the ball. Make that blitz you want to make. But if you've got an opportunity to foul a player and you are thinking it's a free roll, as long as you are needing to roll a 7 or more, there is a chance that it will be profitable for you. The EV technically is that a 7 or more is slightly worse, but the stats are so close that at that point, that's kind of when you're feeling evens about it. It's a coin flip at this point. I mean, it's worse than a coin flip, which is good. Armor 6, Armor 5, Armor 4, getting more assists is just going to make this way better. 7 or more is the key point. That's your midpoint. Anything worse than that, if I need an 8 or a 9 to foul them, you are playing with fire. Anything better, needing a 6 or a 5 to break their armor, you're in a good spot, but you still have a massive chance of being sent off. So bear that in mind. I think that is probably the biggest lesson, is that hitting that 7+ is the turning point. Unless, of course, you are a sneaky git. So we talked at the top of the show about a couple of teams that have the potential to put some cool combinations together. Black Orcs are your huckleberries, okay? These bad boys here are going to end up with guard. And these bad boys here have got agility skills. So taking a dude with sneaky git allows you to free roll some of those rolls we just saw. Okay, so let's compare armor rolls here to sneaky git. The key thing about sneaky git is if you roll doubles on armor, nobody cares. So you are taking straight away basically 16% chance of being sent off. Gone. If you break the armor and you get sent off at that point for rolling a double on the injury rolls, well then fair enough. But basically you just dramatically reduce the EV of fouling with a sneaky git player. So with sneaky git you just reduce the opportunity to roll that second armor dice. Now it's a 1 in 6 chance of being sent off if you break the armor. So these percentages here are going to feel better than they probably are, and the reason for that is because you're going to get less chance to roll those second dice. When it comes to rolling for injury, it is a 1 in 6 chance of you being sent off, but getting to that point where you can risk it is obviously going to be significantly less. So if you're going to go for that armor 9+ foul, but you've got a sneaky git guy, you've got no assists, you've got a 21% chance of fouling them off the pitch, and you've got a 4.6 chance of being sent off. So sneaky git is going to massively help you with the opportunistic fouls. But dirty player is the skill that you want. Now dirty player is a general skill, so you are using non-stunty players most of the time to be able to get dirty player. There are some big guys that start with it, or at least the death roller does, and I think that the pump wagon does as well. Anyway, the whole point of dirty player is that it works like Mighty Blow for fouling, so you can use it to add 1 to the armor roll. If you are thinking about using DP to just add the armor roll, basically just reduce their armor by 1. Just play it in your head. So if you've got dirty player, use the stats for an AV 8+ player rather than AV 9. That's going to work. All it does is just add that. So I recommend doing that most of the time. However, when you get to a point where you are comfortable, and this slide here basically demonstrates the benefit of dirty player, because it's going to massively help you remove players. So what we've got is the chart from before. So KO plus is knocked out or badly hurt by breaking that armor. You've got a dirty player +1 piece. You're not going to use you're not going to use DP. You're just going to rely on your assists or just go straight armor. You can see the increase here. So armor 9+, your human blitzer, whatever, goes from 11% to 16% when you've got dirty player 1 and you're saving it for the injury roll. Armor 8+, war dancers, 24% up from 17%. So again, up 7% there. AV7, so if you are fouling a war dancer with 1 assist, rolling a 7+, you got a 24% chance normally of removing it. 34% with dirty player +1. Armor 6+, 30% normally, 42% with dirty player +1, and armor 5+, 35% normally. Basically 49% chance. You've got almost a 50% chance if you can get it down to a 5+ armor. So war dancer with 1, 2, 3 assists. I know that sounds like a pretty good opportunity, but that is going to come up every now and again, especially as guard is relevant now. Dirty player +1 means that 50% of those fouls are not 50%, 48.6% of those fouls are going to remove that war dancer, and that is just an incredible stat, because I guarantee you're willing to risk 2 players, if you've got 2 players with dirty player, to get that removal up. And the reason for that is because it takes that knockout roll from 8, which is a 42% chance of succeeding, to a 7, which is over 50% chance, and it just makes it so much easier to remove pieces if you've got dirty player and you save it for the injury roll. And because death rollers don't get enough love because they are way overcosted, way overcosted. Potentially more overcosted than our little friend Gretchen. It's very sad. Anyway, DP +2, just filthy. And that's really, really interesting. So with Dirty Player, the same as Mighty Blow, you roll armor, you can choose to add Dirty Player at that point to break the armor, or you don't, and if you break the armor naturally or with assists because you're fouling, you can use DP on the injury roll. So for this slide, same as the previous one, we're going to assume that you don't need it for the first roll, you're just using it on injury. So let's have a look. Let's start at AV 9+, 20% chance of removal, up from 11%. Armor 8+, so your War Dancer fouling with Dirty Player +2, 30% of those fouls are going to get that player gone, up from 17%. AV 7+, you're hitting that War Dancer and you got a little guard friend, your Dirty Player +2. These are dwarves, okay? You've got a Dirty Player +2 Death Roller. You've got a support. You've 3-die blocked that War Dancer to the ground, you didn't break his armor with Mighty Blow. Now you're going for the pile driver, you're rolling, and a 42% chance of a knockout or better. This is a bit of a combo, but it is a filthy combo. Armor 6+, if you can get 2 assists on that War Dancer, 52%, and Armor 5+ is 62%. Almost 2/3 of those fouls, if you can get them down to needing a 5+ and you've got Dirty Player +2, that player is gone. So let's review ever so slightly. Fouling is a gamble. It will always be a gamble. There are some things that make it better. Sneaky Git makes it better. Guard makes it better. Dirty Player is just fantastic if you can get it up to Dirty Player +2 somehow. The real message of this video is that it is always going to be a gamble, but if you need a roll of a 7 or more, you can start feeling happy. It's a heuristic, it's a real simple line, and it's not entirely true, but that's the point at which you can start feeling, alright, I've got about the same chance of my player being sent off as I do their player. And at that point you can think about TVOP, you can think about the team value worth of those players, and you can make your decision. If you've got a human lineman and you're about to kick a chaos blocker in the head, and you've got 2 assists and it's going to need a 7 or more, that's a gamble that's probably worth taking. And that's where you can start kind of making those judgment calls. So last night I had a Slan lineman and I had the potential to take out, I think it was a it was a human blitzer with Mighty Blow. Okay, so in Blood Bowl 2016, that's what, 110k versus my 60k. I had no assists, so in this edition, this is what I would have been looking at. 11% to remove him, 21% to remove me. I decided not to go for it, and I think that was the right call. If I had a couple of assists, then I would have been kind of breaking even on my randomness, on my risk, on my EV. So the other thing to mention here, and I was going to do more stats, but I figured that you guys are all probably there, a drooling puddle of, oh my god, this is the worst video you've ever made, Ben. Think about the risk versus the player cost difference. But realistically, think about it this way. I watched a great game the other day where Sam Frenzy Garner was playing against his brother, Lee, and Lee was just going ham with his ogres. And he was just taking every both down ever. He was like, don't care, take them both down. I've got Heft, I've got Mighty Blow, I'm up in this ratio. And he was just tanking, but taking out all of Sam's players at the same time. Think about that mentality when you foul. Think, right, if my guy gets sent off and his doesn't, is that good for me? If my guy gets sent off and his doesn't, how does that leave me? So with my Slan team, I was already a couple of players down. So I would have gone from 9 to 8. He would have been at 10. Wasn't kind of beneficial. And this is where stunty players are going to have such a great time. Snotlings, Noblars, Halflings. It gets a bit tougher when it comes up to goblins and the bruisers because of that cost factor. But Noblars at 15k, Halflings at 30k. You know, these are costs at which you're like, I've probably got spares for the next drive, and it's worth taking that gamble. When it comes to kind of 50k plus, you've got to be looking at, basically, guys, I would say you're aiming for a roll of a 7 or better, and you want to be doubling your team value or more. At that point, go nuts fouling, because it is going to give you a significant edge. Because, yeah, alright, sometimes it's going to work out bad. Everything is a risk in Blood Bowl, but if you take those fouls, when you get a good shot, when you get better than even odds at taking out a dude on their side with your guy staying on the pitch, if you take them 4 times in a game, you're going to get one of your guys sent off and one of their guys sent off. And if that's the kind of position that puts you in a better state to win the game, then you are leaving that EV on the pitch by not taking that action. So, foul play or fair play, it's down to you. But 7+, double your team value, foul all the time. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate this was quite number heavy. Please let me know in the comments if it was too number heavy. I need to get better at this because I want to deliver great information as well as I can without it being a bit like a science lesson. Blood Bowl science lessons. That is a topic at school I probably would have passed. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.